Boom, boom. Howdy, welcome to BanjoBenClark.com. I am the Banjo Ben, your teacher here on the site. I teach you how to play banjo and guitar, but this is Mandolin week. I've got this Northfield artist model here. Oh, it's so sweet. We're going to learn how to do these 16th note pull-offs. Now, you probably heard it, but I want you to be clear on what happened there. I had two A parts and I had two B parts for that song, Liberty. And the melody is exactly the same with the first A and the second A part and the first B and the second B part. All I did was threw in some of these 16th note pull-offs. And what I wanted to show to you is that we have a really easy way to take basic melodies and spice them up. So that's what it's all about today. We will learn how to play that specific solo, but we're going to spend time working on exercises for how to play these better and talk about integrating them into whatever song we're playing. If you're watching on the website, you have everything you need here. As a Gold Peak member, just scroll down beneath this video screen for the rest of the lesson. If you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, come on over to the website. I'd love to have you. Now, I've covered pull-offs before on the site, but we're going to drill down specifically to these 16th note pull-offs because they sound really, really cool, especially in slower songs, because a 16th note is typically twice as fast as the normal eighth notes that you're playing. So it interjects these little fast notes into the typical string of notes that we're playing. So we need to understand the theory behind what we're doing. Let's go ahead and throw up this first line of tab. You'll be able to compare 16th note pull-offs to what eighth note pull-offs are. So imagine that we just had a scale starting on this high A note. We could play down the D major scale. And it would sound like this. So those are all eighth notes. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. And if we were going to interject and use some eighth note pull-offs in there, we could put them wherever we want. But just as an example, there in measure 1, we're going to pull off from the 2nd fret to open. And then when we get down to the A string, we're going to pull off from 3 to 2. You can either, for the sake of this exercise, pull off going down or push off going up. Now, what I want you to notice before I play that is that we have pick strokes missing, don't we? You see, the pull-off takes the place of that pick stroke. So as we're playing down, down, up, down, pull off, and I don't pick the string, and I skip that pick stroke, go back to another downstroke, pull off, skip that downstroke that would have happened on the 2nd fret, and then play my last open string. So that sounds exactly like if we were to play all of the notes. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, we're just playing some of the notes using pull-offs with our fret hand. However, whenever you do 16th note pull-offs, you're putting extra notes in there, okay? Because these are going to fall in between where your normal eighth notes fall. And that's what we see there in measure 2. And there's a couple different ways that we can think about this. Because I want you to compare the notes in measure 2 to the notes in measure 1, because we have exactly the same thing going on. We still have this main idea. Okay? But you can either pull off, when you land on a note, pull off to the next note that you are going to play so that you get there a little quicker. That's what we have happening in the first half of measure 2. It would be, but what we do is when we land on the 2nd fret, we're going to go ahead and pull off to that open string. And you'll notice we do not skip any pick strokes. Down, up, down, up. Or what we can do is delay it and keep the note down longer than what we would play it, and then quickly pull off to the note where we should be. That's what happens in the second part of measure 2. It should be this. But we're going to hang on to the 4th fret right here, and then quickly pull off to the 2nd fret. So that whole measure 2 sounds like this. And that's what we're going to be doing in our exercise, and also when we learn that solo for Liberty, we may choose to either jump to the next note that we're wanting to play a little quicker. In that instance, we would use a 16th note pull-off leading into the note, or we keep the note that we had just played, hold it over, and then pull off to the note where we're supposed to be. Does that make sense? It will, even more so as we look at the exercises. Let's check out one of the exercises here. This one, I just want to work our index finger, okay? Just our index finger in measure 3. That's this finger right here, okay? And as far as direction of pull-offs go, again, some people say technically pull-offs only go down toward the floor, and that if you do it this way, going up towards the ceiling, that's a push-off. I call them both a pull-off. I'll give you a strategy later on as to why I would do one or the other. But what I want you to notice in measures 3 and 4 here is that we're not missing any pick strokes, right? And if I were to ignore the pull-offs, it would simply be these notes. Those are the notes. If I could get in tune. Okay, but we're going to use some 16th note pull-offs to interject some trickery in there. So what we're going to do first is I'm going to pull off on that 2nd fret to the open string. So when we pull off there to the open string, normally if I was just playing this regular scale, it would just have been an open string. But I'm going to keep that 2nd fret down and pull off halfway in between or in the middle of that note. Same thing here. Come down to measure 4. Okay, now try to make those pull-offs crisper than what I just made that last one. Make them clean, make sure it sounds like 2 different notes, and try pushing off toward the ceiling and pulling off towards the floor. I will notice that when I'm playing my first string up here, I typically do like to pull off going down, okay? Just because I don't have any other strings to mess. Whenever I pull off, I don't run into any other strings. But very, very often I will pull off or push off going up, especially if I'm playing faster and I'm wanting my hand to already be traveling that direction. Well, it makes sense if I'm doing a lick like that, if I pull off going down, then I have to come back and land on that note. But if I push off, look where my ring finger ends up. Okay, so there's just a bit of strategy like that we need to think about, but practice those index pull-offs. Now let's practice with our middle finger now. Some of these are going to, they're going to be from 3rd fret to 2nd fret and from 4th fret to 2nd fret. We start again and again in measure 5. We've got the same notes happening right down a D major scale, but now we're going to pull off from middle to index. Up. Pulling off going down. Okay, so you'll find out which one feels more natural to you, but that works out your hand. And now we've got a ring pull off. We're not going to do the pinky today, partially because we don't use it very much with the pinky, and the other reason is I cut the tip of mine off with a butcher knife. Let's practice our ring finger. This is going to be more difficult because our ring finger is not as strong as our other ones. Okay? Now, that's just the beginning exercise. That's just the beginning. That's just to introduce us to what it feels like, what it sounds like, and to get these 3 fingers, poor little feller, get these 3 fingers used to doing the 16th note pull-offs. But now we're going to step it up in our exercise. We're going to do a circular scale. But introduce. Oh, snap. Did you hear that? Okay, we'll do that in the next video. If you're watching on the website, just click on the next video segment below. If you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, it's time for me to collect your money. Come on over to banjobenclark.com where you can do that very thing.